Talamasca, The Secret Order 2025. Season 1, Episode 1, We Watch and We Are Always There. Spoilers ahead. Imagine a spy agency that doesn't watch terrorists or politicians. It watches vampires, witches, and the souls that don't stay buried. The pilot opens in Gothic London. Soledad, a Talamaska agent, runs through underground tunnels with classified evidence. Shadows close in, she's attacked by something not human. Dead before the credits. In New York, Helen, played by Elizabeth McGuffin, receives what's left of her. An eyeball in an envelope. Message decoded. Someone inside the order is dirty. And the Watchers, they might be the ones being watched. Enter Guy Anatole, a New York law graduate drowning in debt and secrets. He can read minds, a gift he buried behind meds and law books. Helen recruits him for the Talamaska, telling him his life has been under their surveillance for years. The organization protects and controls. Guy meets Burton, a centuries-old vampire on the inside, who warns. The Talamaska doesn't save souls. It collects them. He's not choosing a career. He's choosing a side in a centuries-old shadow war. By the end, Guy accepts the offer and boards a flight to London. His mission: infiltrate a rogue mother house run by Jasper, played by William Fichtner, a vampire who may own the organization itself. As the plane takes off, files flash on screen. Vampires, witches, ghosts, and one note under his photo, subject under observation. He thinks he's a recruit. He's actually the experiment. Talamaska launches Anraya's Immortal Universe into spy thriller territory, a world where faith is surveillance and loyalty is currency. It's stylish, slow-boiling, and morally gray, less gothic romance, more psychological espionage. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow if you're ready to see who's actually pulling the strings inside the Talamaska, because in this order, nothing stays hidden for long. Recap with spoilers of Talamaska, The Secret Order, Season 1, Episode 2, A Wilderness of Mirrors, in English. Basic setup and context. Episode title: A Wilderness of Mirrors. Season 1, Episode 2 of the series. This episode follows the pilot's events in which Guy Anatole joined the shadowy organization known as the Talamaska, and the New York mother house begins to realize that deeper conspiracies are in play. Main characters in focus: Guy Anatole, Nicholas Denton, Helen, Elizabeth McGuffin, is the Talamaska's New York mother house leader. Jasper, William Fichtner, is the vampire figure tied to the London mother house, and other Talamaska agents and operatives. Recap plot summary. Here's a breakdown of what happens in Episode 2 in more or less chronological order. Guy's transition and training. The episode opens with Guy leaving behind his old life as a lawyer, law school graduate, and embracing his new role in the Talamaska. Helen provides him with deeper orientation, background on the organization's global scope, its archives, its assets, and their mission to monitor supernatural entities, vampires, witches, ghosts. Guy struggles with the weight of this knowledge, the moral ambiguity, the secret battles, the sense of being monitored all his life, and whether he's truly free or simply another tool. He asks questions. Who watches the Watchers? What happens when the Watchers are compromised? The first assignment: London. Helen sends Guy on his first field assignment to London. The mission: infiltrate or observe the London mother house of the Talamaska, investigate rumors of internal betrayal, and tail a mysterious hitman or rogue operative linked to supernatural assassination. In London, Guy begins to realize the scope of the Talamaska's work: old tunnels, hidden archives, supernatural artifacts, vampire politics. He visits the London mother house and notices signs of corruption, missing files, uneasy agent behavior. The tone is spy thriller mixed with gothic undercurrents. Rising tensions and betrayal. Back in New York, Helen realizes that at least one of the Talamaska's executives or operatives has been compromised. The death of a Talamaska agent in Episode 1, Soledad, looms large in her mind, and she suspects the leak is internal. The London branch is under pressure. Supernatural incidents are escalating, secrecy is failing, and a rogue faction is acting. Guy witnesses unsettling moments. A vampire operative bending rules, a Talamaska archive being broken into, coded messages that imply the 752, the Talamaska's codex archive, is at risk. Guy's moral conflict. As Guy digs deeper, he meets Jasper in London. The scene shows Jasper being both mentor and threat, providing guidance but also reminding Guy of the cost of playing in the shadows. Guy realizes the world he's entering isn't black and white. Guy's former life tries to pull him back. He receives a call or message from someone in his old circle, reminding him of normalcy, reminding him of what he left behind. He's torn. Climax and undoing. The mission peaks when Guy tries to follow the hitman rogue into a hidden lair beneath London. He uncovers evidence of supernatural weaponization or dark alliances, agents dealing with vampires, artifacts used for black ops. He is discovered, barely escapes, and realizes he is out of his depth. Helen, simultaneously, is dealing with political pressure in New York, the Talamaska's finances, public cover-ups, and leaking documents. She begins to suspect someone inside the mother house is acting as double agent. The episode ends with Guy returning to New York, shaken. He tells Helen he's ready to commit, but the final shot implies he is still unsure. A montage shows Talamaska files, a computer screen with a countdown or code, and someone unseen watching both Helen and Guy. The threat to the 752 archive grows. Themes and key observations. Recruitment and identity. Guy's journey from lawyer to Talamaska operative mirrors the classic initiation into the secret world arc, but with modern spy thriller cynicism. Who is he now? Secrecy, surveillance and power. The Talamaska monitors supernatural threats, but is itself vulnerable. The Watchers are being watched. Control over information. The 752 Codex equals power. Morality in the shadows. The episode emphasizes moral ambiguity. A vampire character may be ally. A Talamaska agent may be traitor. The show positions itself in the gray zone. Isolation and legacy. Guy's background, orphan, gifted with telepathy, emphasizes how individuals are pulled into secret legacies. He might feel alone in a world he doesn't fully understand. Spy thriller meets Gothic myth. Visually and thematically, the episode blends underground archives, London fog, corporate tech, vampire politics. It's not Gothic romance, but Gothic intrigue. Might take summary thoughts. Episode 2 of Talamasca, The Secret Order builds strongly on the pilot. It transitions Guy from recruitment into action, deepens the world-building, Talamaska's global reach, the archives, the supernatural espionage, and raises the stakes, internal betrayal, the 752 Codex, the London mother house. While some of the exposition is heavy and the pacing slower in places, the intrigue and tone work well. If you liked it, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more recaps like this. Recap, spoiler heavy, of Talamasca, The Secret Order, Season 1, Episode 3 titled, The Task at Hand. Setup and context. This episode follows the events of episodes 1 to 2, where young agent Guy Anatole Nicholas Denton has been recruited by the secret supernatural monitoring organization Talamaska under the leadership of Helen Elizabeth McGuffin. He's still reeling from the deaths of two operatives, Kevis and Archie, whose mysterious murder-suicide appears to tie into deeper secrets. Meanwhile, the London mother house of the Talamaska is under threat, apparently compromised. Episode 3 deepens the intrigue by introducing a central McGuffin, a codex known as the 752, and reveals shifting loyalties, ambiguous motives, and the scale of corruption within the organization. Plot summary. Flashback and revelation. The episode opens with a historical flashback. In Amsterdam, 1972, the Talamaska's vast archive library goes up in flames. Centuries of supernatural records are destroyed. From this emerges the legend of the 752, a backup codex or secret repository of knowledge. Helen reveals this to Guy as she begins to trust him with more truth. Guy's doubts a new handler. Guy is struggling, he feels trapped in someone else's agenda. He receives a cryptic X signal in a Soho club, prompting him to visit a phone in a trash can and decipher the message, House of Lies. There he meets Olive Maisie Richardson Sellers, introduced as his London handler under Helen's direction. Olive is blunt, enigmatic, and alerts Guy that he is in trouble. The investigation tightens. Guy visits the coven of Kevis, her witch friends, and meets Doris Celine Buckins. He learns that Kevis was in fact a spy for the coven, and the large leather-bound book he saw in her bag might be the 752, or just a scrapbook, as Doris claims. Meanwhile, forensic investigator Ridge, another Talamaska operative, orbits the case of Archie's death and notices odd neck punctures. London Motherhouse and vampire influence. Simultaneously, Helen reveals that the London Motherhouse has been compromised. Its head, Greg Owen, is secretly being treated by the vampire Jasper, William Fichtner, using vampire blood healing. Jasper is subtly pulling strings. One Talamaska agent, Checkers, is abducted and tortured in the basement. Jasper's influence grows unchecked. Confrontation and alliance. Guy, frustrated with Helen's evasions, confronts her. She admits his mother was a Talamaska agent who ran away, but she won't give further details. Helen warns Guy. Quitting the organization is not an option. Either he submits and executes the mission, infiltrate London, find the 752, or he suffers the consequences. Faced with this, Guy walks into Jasper's London lair and offers an alliance, effectively telling Jasper he'll help get the 752 for him. Whether this is betrayal or a power move is still unclear. Cliffhanger. The episode ends with multiple threats converging. Helen watching covert footage, Guy inside Jasper's lair appearing compromised, Checkers half dead, and the 752 still missing. The balance of power within the Talamaska, and between human and vampire, is up for grabs. Themes and key observations. Control versus autonomy. Guy's struggle is central. He's being controlled by Helen, forced into a mission with scant information, and now walks willingly into a vampire's lair. Truth and deception. Who really knows what the 752 is? Is it real? Is it a myth? The series plays with the blurry line between myth, ledger, scrapbook and weapon. Power structures and corruption. The Talamaska, supposedly protectors of supernatural order, are being infiltrated and manipulated. The vampire Jasper has turned the London branch into his playground. Identity and origin. Helen's past as a test subject, Guy's missing mother, the covert experiments, all point to the personal cost of the supernatural spy world. Alliances and betrayal. Guy offering his loyalty to Jasper signals the first major switch in loyalties. The viewer must ask, is he smart or foolhardy? My take, summary thoughts. Episode 3 marks a turning point. Up to now, the narrative felt like setup. Here the true stakes emerge. The 752, the corrupted London branch, Guy's fractured loyalty. While some critics feel the McGuffin is vague or underdeveloped, the 752 is the laziest drag-and-drop McGuffin you could imagine. Per one review, the show gains tension by aligning Guy's personal journey, mother missing, agency recruited him, with the larger supernatural conspiracy. For your recap script, I'd emphasize the 1972 fire and introduction of the 752 legend. Guy meeting Olive and being told he's in trouble. The London branch's descent under Jasper's influence. Guy's confrontation with Helen and his decision to walk into danger. The central question now, who will own the 752, and what will they do with it? Recap of Talamaska. The Secret Order, Season 1, Episode 4, Wet Work, in English. Spoilers ahead. Setup and context. Episode 4 picks up immediately from the tense alliance between Guy Anatole and the vampire Jasper. Guy has made a risky choice of aligning himself with Jasper to pursue the legendary codex known as the 752. At the same time, Helen, head of the New York Motherhouse of the Order, continues digging into her own mysterious origin. Meanwhile, the London branch is increasingly compromised. Plot summary. The mission begins. Guy wakes the episode in Jasper's lair, unsure of his exact status. He is ambivalent about whether he is trusted or being manipulated. Jasper treats him with an uneasy hospitality, revealing much of his backstory. As a human, he lost his family due to the actions of the Talamaska, and now seeks revenge. The 752 becomes not just a treasure, but a weapon in his war. Jasper sends Guy on a covert mission into the Westcroft Hotel, a front for a vampire coven. Guy's telepathic reading powers are called into play as he must infiltrate, observe, and extract information about the 752's current status. Jasper brings along his pet enforcer, the vampire, Checkers, to provide muscle. Infiltration and betrayal. Guy enters the hotel undercover alongside Raglan James from the Immortal Universe crossover. At the bar he overhears deals being made for ancient vampire blood, and faces immediate suspicion. Raglan threatens to expose him, implying Guy is there for company business. The tension escalates when Guy is cornered by a vampire mob boss. Raglan betrays him. Rather than fight nakedly, Guy relies on Jasper's backup. The room erupts into brutal carnage as Checkers massacres the vampires while loud pop music plays, an absurd and violent spectacle. Guy escapes with evidence, a briefcase of vampire blood, and intelligence that ties the Westcroft operation to the missing 752. Meanwhile, Helen, on a parallel track, visits her childhood Maryhouse's old grounds and uncovers a hidden note reading, Jameson equals Melville, tucked into her sister Abigail's coat, hinting at a conspiracy deeper in her past. Aftermath. Loyalties and shifting sands. Back at the mother house, Helen analyzes the note and realizes the Order may have internal divisions. Her own twin sister's role is unclear. She questions whether the Talamaska is truly trustworthy. Meanwhile, Guy returns to Jasper and presents his findings, but with new doubts creeping in about whether the 752 exists or is merely a lure. Jasper makes it clear, control the 752, control the Order. Guy, caught between loyalty to the Order and the vampire, chooses to follow Jasper's plan for now. The episode ends with multiple threads unresolved. Helen digging into her origin, Guy embedded with the vampires, Jasper's plan moving forward and Raglan slinking away. The balance of power within the Talamaska, and between human agents and immortals, shifts precariously. Themes and key observations. Ambiguity of loyalty. Guy's decision to side with Jasper reveals the show isn't black and white. Heroes might be compromised, villains might have causes. Legacy and revenge. Jasper's arc is centered on how the Talamaska destroyed his family centuries ago. This personal vendetta drives much of the vampire side story. Power of knowledge. The 752 Codex serves as the symbol of ultimate power, knowledge that can upset the balance. The search for it frames the espionage storyline. Corruption within the Order. Helen's investigation into her own past implies that the Talamaska is not immune to internal rot. The note, Jameson equals Melville, suggests hidden agendas. Spectacle and tone shift. Reviews note that this episode leans into dumb fun, with its gore-filled infiltration and absurd hotel carnage scenes. Some critics argue the show is embracing its pulp horror spy genre. My take, summary thoughts. Episode 4 Inches Wet Work is the turning point where the show shifts from setup into full-on action. The infiltration sequence in the hotel is chaotic, violent, stylish, and marks Guy's true descent into the morally gray. Meanwhile, Helen's subplot adds emotional weight and texture. The episode takes bold risks, combining spy thriller cover-ops with vampire mythology and generational trauma.